I'd like to call the meeting to order. Kenner Council today. Everybody take your seats, please. Thank you. Lots of random sounds today. All right, in accordance with Council Resolution number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones or other devices of the nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Does anybody have any special intentions today before we do the prayer? Councilman Wilmot?
Yeah, I have a longtime friend who's taken ill, and he's in ICU right now. Mr. Fred Hickman, if you will, keep him in your prayers and thoughts. Thank you.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes, I found out yesterday that a longtime employee at the city of Kenner, Johnny Bergeron from Gladys Playground, passed away. Please keep it.
Johnny Bergeron?
Yes, yesterday.
When?
Yesterday. So please keep his family in your prayers.
Wow, okay. Sorry, Johnny was a big instrumental part of my district for a long time. I had no idea. So that's pretty striking to me. Definitely, we pray for Johnny Bergeron, all he's done for Kenner over the many years he was at Gladys Park. So I definitely second that. Thanks for letting me know. Wow. Anybody else? All right, Councilman D. Dunn, please lead us in the prayer, please.
Let us bow our heads. God our Father, as we come together once again this hour in the morning, dear Master. Father, we just want to tell you thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Lord, I pray for Kenner this morning. I pray for the mayor. I pray for the police chief. I pray for the fire chief. I pray for this council. I pray for the administration. I pray for Kenner as a whole and its residents. Thank you for keeping us safe, dear God. Lord, the storm passed over. We didn't have to deal with the tornadoes and all of this, dear Master. We just want to tell you thank you. I lift up the Hickman and the Bergeron's families up to your throne of grace. Lord, I'm asking you to be with them. Throw your loving arms of protection all around them. And dear Master, as we get into the business of Kenner, I pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that you will minister to our needs, dear God, that we will run this city with dignity and respect, but most of all in the fear of God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Is Chief here? He was going to do the pledge. Is Chief Conley here? All right, I'm going to ask Chief Terrence Morris to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. You have a quorum this morning. Next, we have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads.
Mayor Glazer.
Thank you. And I was remiss not mentioning Keith Conley's father, who passed away a few weeks ago in Florida. So keep him in your prayers. I'm going to go backwards here. Normally you save the best for last, but since we got people here that have better things to do than sit here and enjoy this time with us, we'll go first. Shortly after last October's election, we had a new Jefferson Parish Councilwoman elected. Met with her to go over some of the projects and kind of ideas we have here in Kenner and her district. And, you know, I always say we talked about three things, and two of the three things we were pretty much had the same idea. And that's pretty much the way it went. Talked about how we can forward some of these things. And 1 or 2 months ago, she called me all excited that she now has money. Like I told her, my only advice when she came in the office is ask for money. And apparently she asked for money and got somewhere around $16 million for a project. So with that, Arita, the floor is yours. or Councilwoman Bohannon, excuse me.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to give you my 45-minute presentation. I'm just kidding.
Make a motion to dispense with the minutes and the meeting.
So today we are announcing a very exciting opportunity that we have in the city of Kenner. We are announcing the Laketown Improvement District. The Laketown Improvement District is going to exist pursuant to 2 cooperative endeavor agreements that are going to be between the city of Kenner and Jefferson Parish. These 2 cooperative endeavor agreements are being presented for the first time before the city council and will be voted for at the April 30th meeting. Nicknaming it the LID, it is going to be 2 different cooperative endeavor agreements that will beautify our largest corridor in Kenner, Williams Boulevard, all the way to Laketown. The first cooperative endeavor agreement will involve Williams Boulevard improvements. We are going to be pairing with the city to provide an incentive program. It'll be from the interstate all the way to Laketown itself, providing a matching program for businesses to incentivize them to improve their facade and change their signage out. Ultimately, they will have 5 years that they will be mandated to make some improvements to their signage, but they will be a matching incentive program that will allow them to do it with additional funding from the parish. Per business, it will be up to a $20,000 match. It's important because when you get off the interstate, this is the first thing our visitors see. Pole signs, dated, ugly, broken, leaning, falling, where we could do something much better in our community that they're doing in other areas with the monument signs and signs that are only attached to the building. So we're going to be asking people on Williams Boulevard to partner up with us and make our city look the way it should. The second cooperative endeavor agreement is sort of the big flashy one. It involves Laketown itself. Laketown will have the funding now to build what we have talked about doing for at least 2 decades. This agreement will allow the parish to access, build, study what is going to be an amazing Laketown area for all of us. It will have an amphitheater, a 5,000 square foot stage, lookout points, a living shoreline. The living shoreline is important not only for levee protection and for hurricane protection, but because it will allow us access to future funding, which is going to be important to maintain what is going to be the most amazing asset Kenner has. It'll have a wildflower meadow, a state-of-the-art inclusion park. If you've heard me speak about parks at all, you know that I'm fighting for an inclusion park. This is going to be the largest and most expensive inclusion park in the state of Louisiana, and it'll be right here in Kenner. Funding for this is coming from CDBG money. When I first came into office, the mayor's right, we had been allotted a couple million for a potential levy that was going to cost so many more millions. We would all not even be here by the time we could have saved for that kind of project. So instead, I worked with them to develop this idea that the mayor and I both had to see if we could maybe make this funding diverted. Well, it didn't just get diverted. They allotted us approximately $10 million more than what they had initially allotted us. And then they allotted us an additional $1 million for the Williams Boulevard project. We've also just recently got news that we're getting some funding from State Representative Villio. And then we have money that we had already dedicated to this project over the course of years. And we're still working on partnering up with city vendors, parish vendors, to see what they could maybe bring to the park. For example, we've met with Entergy. We believe that they are going to help us with some improvements on Williams Boulevard, including changing out the lighting over the course of several years. So imagine like David Boulevard, David, the changes on David, the lighting, or the lighting near the airport, so that it'll look more like a special district, which it is going to be. Here's our initial drawings. To the right, you'll see treasure chest, and to the left, the green area is going to be the part of the project that we are focusing on most urgently. A little bit of a close-up for you. They will have the amphitheater. It will have like walking trails, if you imagine a state park with the boardwalks that go over the marsh area, it will have that. It will have a couple lookout areas. It will have a small boat launch, or boat dock, rather. That is not a marina. It's not, you're not going to be able to leave your boat there, but you will be able to pull up your boat and enjoy a concert for the day. To the right, all the way to the right, that little square is where the park will be, the inclusion playground. So what's next? We have the CEAs that are being presented for the first time today to the City Council. Those will need to be voted on. The parish will need to also vote and adopt the cooperative endeavor agreements. Michelle Gonzalez, who is the Director of Ecosystem and Coastal Management, she has fought for and continues to fight for additional funding so that we can continue to add to what we've already designed, which is exciting. The other thing is that we're going to be waiting for the CDG money that we've been allotted to actually come through so that we can move to final design. The parish, we have each put up $25,000. My office as well as the coastal management office, so that we can begin the geotech testing, so we can see how far we got to drive pylons in and all that kind of stuff. And so we're going to get a jump start on this by putting up regular parish funds while we're waiting on the CDBG funding to come through. The important thing to know about the CDBG funding is that it is not money that we have to match. It's not grant money in the sense that you have to go through programs. This will be dollars in hand. So when this money comes through, we are ready to hit go, and we are ready to build. We have talked about doing this for decades, and you may be wondering why there's no fanfare today. Previously when we've announced something big at Lake Town, there's the press, and there's a press conference, and there's balloons, and big drawings of Ferris wheels, and sometimes celebrities pop out. That's not what this is. This is a real project with real money and real serious people between my office and the mayor's administration and this council that are going to build this project. It's not pretend. This is really happening. I believe this will be a game changer for Kenner. This will be the largest thing that's happened to us in probably 10, 20 years. And I'm excited that we have an administration and a council here in Kenner that's willing to fight with me, fight for additional funding, and to see this project through. So I thank you for the invitation. I'm excited for our city. I think this is going to be amazing and magical, a huge economic driver. Those changes on Williams Boulevard alone will increase property values and make us more desirable. So I'm excited about that. Anybody has questions, y'all can email me. I appreciate the council. Joey Lahat went with me to Entergy to try to fight for some new lighting on, in that corridor. I appreciate that. I know that you guys are working with me, and I'm so thankful. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Arita, I know how hard you've been working. I know Brad brings you pizza at night to your office. I know he's probably here, but when you met with me about a month and a half ago for lunch, and you said we're doing this next month, normally I would have had hesitation in my mind and said there's no way. But since I've known you, and I haven't really known you that long, I definitely knew you were going to do this the next month, and you're doing it. So my district, when I ran for office and since then, what are you doing in Lake Town, and why does Williams Boulevard look so trashy? Mm-hmm. These are two things that are vastly going to improve District 3. And the fact that you have gotten this funding and pushed this, it's also a testament to your team. There's two people back there I've grown to love and know, Leah Russell and John Tobler, who always hides in the back with a bow tie, but I know that they have really worked hard for you on this. You have no issues with the cooperation of the City of Kenner for this project, which is started by your office. I just hope the state does the same thing. If you need any help with state issues or any help in this push forward and procedural issue, anything, levy board, I'll be there for you. I know the whole council will. I know obviously the administration will. But I'm really excited about this. Please post that picture on your page, because I'm going to get about 10 text messages later today saying, what is this going to look like? And that's going to be the first thing people ask. So thanks for coming today. And there's no one more excited about this, well, probably you, than me right now in Kenner. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Just a couple really quick thank yous since you said that. The mayor's entire staff, to be honest, more particularly, let's see, I have a list here going. Anyway, Valerie Wagaspeck-Brolin, Wendell Dufour, Eric Mund, Jose Gonzalez, Amy Vallow, Natalie Newton, of course. The mayor has driven up to Baton Rouge nearly every Tuesday, or maybe every Tuesday, and lobbied and lobbied and lobbied with me. So it has been a team effort for sure. And his staff has been amazing. You know, Joey and of course George for pushing me to go get more. And then, of course, Michelle Gonzalez that I mentioned in my own staff. The truth is that I have zero patience. So when drafting the CEAs, we did them ourselves. We weren't waiting for it to be rerouted and all that. We did it ourselves, and that's kind of the beauty with my office. My staff is strong enough that we can do these things and push them through. So, and that's what we've done. Mm-hmm.
George?
Anybody else have questions?
Councilman Brannigan wants to, I
Well,
guess, ask you something.
Sure.
You know, when Rita showed me the drawing the first time, I said, I want to tell you what I envisioned at Lake Town before I see the thing, and it was identical. I was floored by that. I couldn't believe it. And I can see restaurants and shops out there too eventually. But it's a big deal when you look at the city of Kenner, what has happened in Rivertown with the development of Rivertown, and once this next building is built, I mean, Rivertown's blowing and going. If you haven't been to Ground Patty for a concert or a little band playing or whatever, it's unbelievable. Now getting the other end, the north end of Williams Boulevard taken care of, and get Williams Boulevard looking great with the signage and the buildings and everything, it's a home run, and I appreciate what you have done, and thanks for including me.
Mayor Glazer?
All right. Well, I'm not going to jump up and down yet until you tell me the money's in your bank account. They're going to have core issues, levy board issues, FEMA issues, all kind of issues once you get the money. So I'll have a smile when the money's in the bank, but we've been through this once too many times for me to start jumping up and down yet. So, but the first concert will be some kind of heavy metal concert once this is done. If I'm in office.
Pantera.
Yes. So, but this can't just be something where we pay for a little band, a cover band to come out, and you have a couple of people from around here do it like music in the park. I guess my vision was you have a promoter come out and actually, you know, generate hotel stays, revenue in the city of Kenner, and I mean, I think you failed to say how big it was going to be, how many people can sit or fit in it, and as it's designed now, it's 7,500, and that's a lot of people in it. The headaches with parking is the good headaches that we have. So with that, and she said that the facade change and sign change, it was done on David Drive by tax credits. We discussed it here about a year ago with tax credits, but you know, at the time, do you want to force somebody to front $20,000 to change a sign and then give them 5 years of tax credits? A lot of them can't do it. This is just the opposite. She walks in with the money, hands them money, and they can get it done immediately without, you know, a hit to their bottom line. Yes, I think energy was approached many administrations ago about getting rid of the poles, and it was 10 million plus, you know, 15, 20 years ago. So I can only imagine the cost today to kind of clean up that part of Williams Boulevard with the poles. But this is a very good start. So that project is probably going to be a lot easier to do than the Lake Town project, the amphitheater. But with that, like I said, we worked well. It worked well with the last administration in District 4, and this one is off to a very good start, if not better. So with that, thank you. And you know what I do. I come ask for money, so this isn't it.
If you
Stop
want,
taking those calls.
you can get some help booking some big acts by a company called Boyd Gaming through Kim Metlin back there. Maybe they can help us get some big acts from Vegas or
I've already been knocking
something.
on her door.
Oh, yeah.
I've already been knocking
And
on
this
her
only benefits Boyd Game and having more people out there. So, and obviously the casino's opening soon. So we'll talk about that later. Councilman Brian Brennan.
Thank you, Council Chair. Councilwoman Bohannon, this is absolutely just great news. Very, very exciting. I think all of us had all anticipation when you were running and elected that you would hit the ground running, and this is certainly proof of that. So well done, congratulations. Keep up the great work. I can't wait to see the mayor jump up and down, because really it hadn't happened in a while. So
Yeah.
we need to see that. So thank you very much
At a
for all
country
your,
music concert, though.
you and your team's efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. All right. I'm not sure how to disconnect, so. All right, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Bohannon.
All right, you're still on mayor's comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got a few. And some good news comes from almost tragedy. I got Terrence Morris will introduce some of his fire people, could explain what kind of equipment they got and the reason they got it.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to introduce one of our firefighters. We had a donation from one of the members of the community that resulted from what could have been potentially a tragic incident, that they made some equipment, life-saving equipment donation to the fire department for each apparatus. So Nick Zalva, one of our members, is going to explain to you, give you the backstory on that.
Hello. The Kenner Firefighter Association would like to extend its heartfelt gratitude to Jennifer Goldring for generously donating 7 LifeVac medical tools for every frontline fire truck of the Kenner Fire Department. Jennifer's personal experience with her 5-year-old choking has inspired her to make this donation, recognizing the critical importance of having effective tools like the LifeVac choking rescue device readily available in emergency situations. The LifeVac choking rescue device is a suction-based tool designed to dislodge obstructions from choking victims' airway when traditional methods like the Heimlich maneuver are ineffective. Additionally, the Report a Life Saved program ensures that the device is used. When a device is used, the company replaces it free of charge, further enhancing its life-saving impact. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the resident that donated that equipment to. There's only, what, a handful of them? How many you got? One for every apparatus? That's something that should be in every fire vehicle and probably police vehicle at the same time. So, but that's also a good start. Let me run through a couple of things here. But last Wednesday, April 10th, the rain event here in Kenner, we received a lot of rain, most rain that we've had in a very, very long time here in the city of Kenner. We were right almost 6 3/4 inches of rain in a matter of a couple of hours. The highest rain today was on that date was between 7 a.m. and 7:15 at the Pontchartrain Center, equivalent to 12.26 inches an hour. So we were watching the gauges in some of these sewer stations where it was raining almost a half an inch every 15 minutes at the height of the storm. So we went from, I mean, it was, the lowest we had was 5.22 at our wastewater treatment plant at the end of Veterans. So it was a monumental rainstorm. I'm glad it stopped when it did because the pumps were pretty much at capacity. The canals were full, the streets were full. The only building I know that got any kind of water was right here in Rivertown, which, you know, it's not uncommon that during an April rain shower, water does approach these buildings in the 500 block or 400 block, whatever it is. And when cars come down the street, they push the water into the buildings. Luckily, this happened on a weekday when we had our whole staff working. So I'd like to thank all the city field workers that were out putting up barricades, sweeping storm drains, and the ones in the office monitoring this stuff, where it's kind of helped us when you look at these water levels rise and there's really little you can do about it. Jose was on the phone with the parish, and they assured us that every pump in Kenner was up and running, and that's about as much as we can pump at one time. But when it comes in, if John Cryer is correct, it's over 12 inches an hour. If it would have rained any amount of time, we'd all been flooded. But improvements are still being made in the parish drainage system, and we're trying to add a pump to the river project here. District 4, Councilwoman Bohannon is trying to add a pump station up in Seton Park to pump west. which will all benefit everybody because you're pumping stuff from here north, and it takes a long time, and it just bogs up the whole system. But during the event, Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang called and wanted to know if we needed anything. Representative Steve Scalise called and wanted to know if we needed anything and offered any assistance we needed. But the biggest thing you saw, and it's a problem that we're going to have to address sooner than later, is we have a little over 80-something sewage lift stations in the city of Kenner to move sewage. At 1:30 p.m. Wednesday the 10th, 55 of them had high wet well alarms going off, which means the wells were full of sewage and water. When they fill up, when you flush your toilet, it has nowhere to go. And I think somewhere in Chateau, it actually had sewage in the street where it backed up. So that's kind of the stuff that this sewer system is 80-plus years old and really had no major overhauls. You see, I say it every time, the agenda always has at least 1 or 2 emergency repairs. This agenda has 2 of them. And it's the constant battle. So when these wet well alarms are going off, them pumps don't stop. They keep pumping. And if you got some kind of faulty system, it pumps. He runs, wears the pumps out. And, just the wastewater department has no option but to make these emergency repairs or people's toilets won't work. So I'll be coming sooner than later to try to address that problem. All right, some project updates. Some of you council people have asked me about a few. Williams Boulevard from Veterans to West Metairie. It's going. It looks like the road work looks like it stopped, but they're doing curbs, sidewalks, and some other things. We've asked, I know Councilman Ronnie's office received some complaints about the lack of signage. So the state has assured us they'll put temporary and some permanent signage up to kind of help the motorists navigate that area. Power Boulevard, the walking path. The path is done. It's landscaping and lighting is being done now. If you go out there, you see they're starting to deliver the sods of grass. But the bridge over the canal is under construction. I think they have one support on the north side of the bridge poured and concrete and formed. So that'll take a little while, but there's a lot of use on that walking path from Wilson to Power, so much that we're now getting complaints about too much use in the act to riding of bicycles and motorized vehicles on it, that probably we have to address that also when it comes to our side of the thing. West Napoleon Extension by Dot Steiner here in Williams Boulevard. She's still here, so she still has money. So we still building it. So not to the I think the original design was to tap into the airport access road. Phase 1 is just going to add the U-turn at the access road just to make. I guess you can't get out of that neighborhood behind Dot Steiner now with the new, I guess, design of Williams Boulevard, that you need to have these trucks be able to come out to a large roadway with has signals that you can, I guess, navigate northbound on Williams. So we'll call her back when she wants to write the check, and we'll start construction. On a happy note, Williams Boulevard overlay from Joe Yenny to the levee. It's been in bad shape for at least 10 years. I mean, it was so bad we had one lane blocked off coming southbound. We intentionally didn't do it when the Treasure Chest said they were moving land-based. We didn't want to put a new roadway and have the heavy trucks and equipment tear up our new roadway. Well, the heavy trucks and equipment are pretty much done. So I'm happy to say as of today, Williams Boulevard overlay is complete and striped. It looks like a whole different roadway. And right in, I guess, a project that kind of went along with it is the Pontchartrain Center alleyway to the loading docks. When Treasure Chest needed temporary parking, they built it behind Planet Fitness and behind the Hilton and Pontchartrain Center. And there was just a old raggedy little alleyway that was there. I'm happy to say today it's now a new 4-lane roadway that services the loading dock, the Pontchartrain Center, and the Treasure Chest parking lots, which are going to be overflow and or parking. I guess Kim can speak about that if she has any questions, or y'all have any questions if she comes up. But the whole area looks nice. And when we added all this new roadway and expanded volume, we needed a traffic signal, and the traffic signal arms are up. So, but it is confusing when you drive up and you see the road striping, you see a traffic arm with no traffic lights. So the traffic lights will be coming, I think, sooner than later. And another thing that looks very bad in Lake Town is on the agenda today, 15K. We've entered into an agreement with Treasure Chest Casino to rehabilitate the Pontchartrain Center sign. So it didn't make much sense for us to have competing huge signs back at the same place. So we've joined forces, and we're going to have one sign that has Treasure Chest Casino and Pontchartrain Center on it with a video board and a certain number of, I guess, advertisement, kind of static advertisement, kind of like they have now. But the box or the part of the sign that has all the information on it is going to be narrower but a little bit taller. So the square footage goes down, and it looks much nicer. So we'll be able to advertise some of our city events, and of course Treasure Chest will be advertising when they're giving free money away. All right, and Councilwoman asked me about an update on Loyola and I-10 interchange. It's nearing completion. This week, the contractor has been removing the old traffic control lights, the red lights, that are hanging on wires and activating the ones that are on the arms, the ones that are going to be permanent. They've started at 31st Street and they moved to 30th Street. I guess they're going southbound. But that takes a pretty good coordination with police, them, everybody hooking it up. So there's probably 5 or 6 areas that they have to do, so it's probably going to take 2 weeks. But according to Jose, don't yell at me, yell at him. It's supposed to be complete in May, which is next month. So, and he says that's the Loyola part of it, where you're driving north and southbound on Loyola. They may have a little stuff left on I-10 to clean up once it's up and running. But for the most part, that Loyola interchange should be almost done. And thing that's been hanging over, I guess, me as I step foot in this office is the Duke Street Fire Station. I kind of, after election, before I took office, learned that we had no money, but we're going to sell or pretty much take over Williams Boulevard from the state forever, which made absolutely no sense to me because not only are you inheriting the roadway, the drainage, the lighting, but also the liability. So it didn't make much sense for a couple of $1 million that you take all this stuff forever. But what that did is left us with a shortfall of even thinking about building a fire station. We have about $770,000 left for that project. So along with this fire millage, part of it is to correct the salaries, is also to buy equipment. We can sit around and wait another 7 or 8 years for the millages to come in to give enough money to build a fire station, but I've decided to bond it out, and I think we're going in front of the bond commission in July or August. It's already designed, it's a design build, and if I have my way, we'll start construction either before Halloween or at least before the end of the year. And it's about a 1-year construction length of time, so hopefully this time next year we have a structure almost halfway done. So I think that's about all I got. Well, April. Mr. Al, your sales tax down 8.3% compared to last year, which is $304,871.78. Overall, down 1.87%, which is $749,694.99 compared to last year. I don't know what you did to work your magic, but it's a lot better than with the first piece of paper you handed me. But, so.
Well done, man.
All right, bud. So that's it. Any questions for me?
Nope. Councilman Brannigan?
I need to clarify something. I made a mistake in the person that passed away. I thought the guy said Johnny Bergeron. It was a guy named Johnny Reynolds that was a coach at Bertolino, all-star coach through all the years. I don't know how I messed that up, but I apologize, Johnny Bergeron. I hope that day doesn't come too soon.
Wow. You should have seen the text he sent me.
my text blowing up like, you got the wrong Johnny. I'm like, oh my God.
Thank God it's Friday. Oh, wow.
That's what Johnny Bergeron said.
Oh, my God. Madam Clerk.
Next up on the agenda, at the request of the administration, an executive session to discuss concerns pending litigation status for the following matters. Item 1 is State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company versus the Kenner Police Department at all 24th Judicial District Court, number 851-819, Division L. Item 2 is Sylvana Whittington et al. Versus the Kenner Police Department, State Farm claim number 18-52N3-17R.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat to adjourn. Councilmember in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. The council will now adjourn into executive session.
Ladies and gentlemen of the public, we'll be adjourning to executive session. Usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Sorry about that, but we'll be back soon. Thank you. right, let everybody reconvene, please. You can take your seats. All right, motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat to reconvene. Councilmembers in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Motion passes 7-0. Under resolutions, motions, and other items from the floor, do we have any items this morning? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of the minutes, the regular council meeting of April 4, 2024. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. Item 2A is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to Friends of Rivertown on May 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st of 2024 at Rivertown, 2015 4th Street, being property owned by the City of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2400-24, North American Midway Entertainment, Amusement South LLC, to hold a public gathering starting on May 23rd through June 2nd, 2024, weekdays from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. and weekends from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the purpose of a community carnival at the Esplanade Mall, 1401 West Esplanade Avenue in Kenner, Louisiana. And that will conclude our consent agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Dunn, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Councilmembers in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings and final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution appointing Barry S. Ronchi as court magistrate for the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilman Wilmot.
Yeah, I just want to mention that I've been knowing Mr. Barry Ranchi for many years now. He and I have a law office sharing arrangement, and we are not partners, so make that absolutely clear. We do share office space, though. Simply to avoid the appearance of impropriety, I am abstaining from voting on this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Council. My name is Barry S. Ranchi. I have the privilege to appear before this Honorable Council and at the recommendation of the Mayor to ask for your confirmation. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong Kenner resident. I went to Our Lady of Perpetual Help 3 blocks up the street. Went to Archbishop Rummel High School, University of New Orleans, and Loyola Law School. From there, I began my criminal court experience working in Orleans Parish Criminal District Court, clerking for a judge, observing countless jury trials with very serious crimes. After that, I worked for the Honorable Leon Canizero as a prosecutor, prosecuting very serious juvenile offenses in the Orleans Parish Juvenile Court. And since then, I have opened up my own practice where I do a lot of trial work, some civil work, and my office is here in Kenner, and would humbly ask that you confirm my nomination. Is there any questions by the Honorable Council?
I think so. Madam Clerk, due to Councilman Wilmot's abstention, we're going to remove him from being the primary motioner. We're going to substitute Councilwoman McKinney. So I'm going to put Councilwoman McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Dunn, on this item. Can you please note that for the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Ranchi, thank you for coming today. Otherwise,
Thank
go
you,
ahead and
sir.
vote. I think we're good to go. Councilors in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Wilmot abstaining. Item 13B is a resolution authorizing a settlement in State Farm Claim Number 18-52N3-17R entitled Savannah Whittington et al. Versus the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, second by Councilmember Schwartz. Anyone wishing to speak on the item? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution authorizing a settlement in the 24th Judicial District Court Case Number 851-819, Division L, entitled State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company versus the Kenner Police Department et al.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Anyone wishing to speak on 13C? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13D is a resolution supporting KHA Affordable Properties LP application for a payment in lieu of tax pilot arrangement from the Jefferson Parish Economic Development Commission, JEDCO.
Got a motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Mr. Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 52 years. I support this resolution. I urge its passage by the council. Jefferson Parish Council, Wednesday, passed this, mirrors this one. They passed a resolution that mirrors this one. And I like to believe this is a result not only of the people with the Kenner Housing Authority, but one citizen, which is myself, who's the only citizen who attends those meetings every month as well, worked with them to get this done. Because it looked like it was dragging on for a while there. So we got it done. This is the result when somebody from the public works with the agency to get it done. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Jerry Bologna, you're going to...
No, Robert Garrity.
Oh, I'm sorry,
representing-
Robert, excuse me. Sorry about
Representing
that.
the
Thank
Kenner
you.
Housing Authority. Members of the council, this has been a long fight to get this done. For y'all in the neighborhood, we've raised the Glenwood Apartments. This project is necessary to stabilize the loan base. We cannot have the property taxed at fair market value because we can't charge fair market value rents. The council, parish council approved this unanimously. JEDCO approved it unanimously. This will give Kenner the premier housing in the state of Louisiana for its citizens, and we ask that you please consider the resolution approving it.
Thank you. Next to the podium, please state your name, please.
Jerry Bologna, President and CEO of JEDCO.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I'm here to answer any questions, but also just to provide a little context. These payments in lieu of taxes are typically, you would hear about them when we're working with a company to attract. It's a mechanism whereby JEDCO as a public body can take an improvement off of the tax rolls and negotiate a payment in lieu of taxes. In this situation, the Kenner Housing Authority currently owns those properties. They are tax exempt as they are. So this is a tool that we're using to pass that tax savings on to the for-private developer and partner to execute bringing these 121 residential units back online. So I'm happy to answer any questions. But this is approved by the JEDCO board. In practice, we always bring it to the Jefferson Parish Council, but this project being in the municipality of Kenner, we're seeking Kenner Council approval as well.
Thank you so much. Anybody comments? No? Councilman Schwartz?
For how long, sir? For how long is the tax benefit would be for? Is there a set amount of years or 1 year or?
Sure, and I actually want to bring up Philip Sherman, who's our special counsel with Adams and Reese. This project is a little complicated in that it's going to be the rehabilitation of some existing units and the construction of some additional units. So we're going to have units coming online at different times. But Philip, if you want to talk about the timeline.
Sure. As each house is put online or gets a certificate of occupancy, it'll be transferred to JEDCO, which will then lease it back. It's a 20-year period, and for as long as the tax credits last. So it would be a 20-year period after which it would go back to the Kenner Housing Authority.
And we're talking residential business or?
It's all residential and their office. So it's 121 units, 34 properties.
And again, like we've been having problems with landlords, slumlords not keeping this up. Again, if they don't keep up the properties, they'll be able to lose that tax exemption?
It would be transferred back to the Kenner Housing Authority, yes. If they don't keep up the properties, JEDCO has the ability to transfer them back to the Kenner Housing Authority.
And then,
Which is, while they own it, it is tax exempt, but they would have issues with their tax financing if, and they could, that would call it, if it was transferred out of this, property would go back to the Kenner Housing Authority or their new partnership, KHA Affordable Properties, which would then be tax exempt. So it would go back onto the rolls as long as it's owned by KHA Properties. So a long way of answering yes, it would go back onto the tax rolls.
yeah, we just want to hold that over their head.
Yes.
Keep up the property or you lose your tax exemption.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you for coming. I think we're ready to vote. Council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,503, an ordinance authorizing the administration to utilize existing state of Louisiana contract number 4400022391 with Quadient Incorporated for the lease of a postal meter and related equipment / accessories not to exceed $3,500 annually.
A motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Anyone wishing to speak on 15A? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,504, an ordinance approving an agreement with Waste Pro of Louisiana Incorporated for providing a 20-yard open-top container with roll-top cover for waste tire processing services and an amount not to exceed $49,000 for the Public Works Department.
Motion by Councilmember D. Dunn, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Anyone wishing to speak on 15B? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,505, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to furnish and install 2-ton mini split system at Woodward Gym in accordance with bid number 24-2122 in an amount not to exceed $6,365 for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,506, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Baruka Construction Company, LLC, to remove, furnish, and install spray foam installation at Fire Station 37 in accordance with bid number 24-2119 and an amount not to exceed $24,800 for the General Services Department. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request of administration to remove this item from the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz to remove the item. Anyone wishing to speak on the removal? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,507, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from EHS Corporation to supply corrugated plastic panels / sign blanks and hardware in accordance with bid number 24-2118 in an amount not to exceed $20,000 annually for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Anyone wishing to speak on 15E? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,508, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Insight for the purchase of 670 WatchGuard auth-pent hardware tokens in accordance with fax bid number 24-2959 and an amount not to exceed $9,131.43 for the Information Technology and Telecommunications Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz. Anyone wishing to speak on 15F? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,509. An ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with High Tech Electric Incorporated of Delaware for installation, termination, and testing of fiber optic cable and similar services on an as-needed basis, increasing the not-to-exceed amount to $150,000 annually and extending the term through October 10, 2026 for the Information Technology and Telecommunications Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember D. Dunn. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Mr. Al Morello.
Al Morello, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 52 years. I understand the reason why the not-to-exceed amount is being increased because of the extension of the contract. But what I need to know is what was the not-to-exceed amount dollar-wise before this $150,000 increase?
Elizabeth Herron, do we have that right now, or do you have to look for it?
The original contract was for $49,500, so it's a $100,500 increase for the new not to exceed. And of that amount, $42,000 has been spent.
$42,000 spent so far.
Thank you, man.
You got it. Thanks, Al. Anyone else? Councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 13,510, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 528 DARE T-shirts, including shipping, at a cost of $4,244.80 from Creative Product Sourcing Incorporated, a sole source provider for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilman Schwartz.
Hey, Chief. I'm glad to see the program coming back. I know it's been going on hold for a while, the DARE program.
No, I think we're one of the municipalities that have always had the DARE program, and other areas they've gone out, but we've always had a DARE program.
We're still going to schools and everything else like that, like we used to do.
Yep.
Fantastic, thank you.
And I'd just like to add that this is grant money that from the Louisiana Law Enforcement Commission. It's a pass-through, but since it's public funds, we get it approved to the council.
The NOSC is still running it?
No, there's 2 officers that are dedicated just to the DARE program, so they can cover. We have 7 or 8 schools in Kenner that we provide this for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 13,511, an ordinance approving the use of state contract number 4400022728 with Motorola Solutions Incorporated for the purchase of portable radios and accessories for a cost not to exceed $124,763.90 for the Kenner Police Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Anyone wishing to speak on 15I? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 13,512, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Sandro's Trattoria to provide food service for the Kenner Police Department jail facility in accordance with sealed bid number 24-6821 for an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Anyone wishing to speak on 15J? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 13,513, an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with Treasure Chest Casino LLC to refurbish the pylon-supported sign in the median of Williams Boulevard next to the Pontchartrain Convention and Civic Center.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz. Anyone wishing to speak on the item? I do. Mayor Glazer, I know Kim's in the back. What's the amount we're spending again, we're sharing with? I think you've told me this before. You don't know?
Do you have the total of the rehab yet? I'm not sure. I don't know if Kim has it or not.
Okay.
I don't. I don't want to say it because we've been going back and forth for at least 6 months with this project.
Okay.
Back and forth with, the locals and in Las Vegas about, it was roughly 200,000 apiece and maybe.
I know it's under $500,000. I
Yes,
think.
it's under $500,000.
Yes. That's all I really.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I
I
want
don't
to
know.
confirm.
The anticipated full project cost is going to be $350,000, but I think that factors in some extras as well, and some maintenance provisions.
Yeah, and it's an expensive sign. Since I've been in office, a lot of people have asked me why haven't we repaired that sign yet, but it's expensive. We got hit by the hurricane, and coinciding with the construction of the treasure chest, Board Gaming's entered into this with us, so we look forward to having that new sign to make it real pretty out there, like everything else going on. Thank you again, Kim. Anyone else? Councilor in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 13,514, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Daktronics Incorporated to furnish and install a scoreboard at Musbertolino Park in accordance with seal bid number 24-6813 in an amount not to exceed $205,874 for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Anyone wishing to speak on 15L?
Yes.
Mayor Glazer.
It's a lot of money for a school board, but this is $200,000 from the money Debbie Villio gave last legislative session to Musbertolino. See, probably this time last year, y'all voted on accepting the money, or maybe in May. Bid it out, and this is what comes back, and that's, according to Natalie Newton, when we have our trunk or treat in Bertolino and we want to play a movie after and it's too windy and we have to cancel it, this school board will play the movie. So it's going to be a permanent video board also with the school board that it better be nice for $200,000.
It's a football field, right, George?
Yes.
Councilman Brannigan.
I just wanted to thank Debbie Villio for putting it together and working with the administration. It's a huge addition to that football stadium. Just gets us on the right track. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, Councilman in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15M is summary ordinance number 13,515, an ordinance ratifying an emergency replacement of the Grundfos 7.5 HP pump located at Louisiana Trace Lift Station by Precision PSI in the amount of $11,575 for the wastewater department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Anyone wishing to speak on 15M? Seeing none, Councilmember in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15N is summary ordinance number 13,516, an ordinance approving an agreement with W.J. Blocher Company LLC to provide professional services, labor only, for fixtures, lamps, and wiring on an as-needed basis in accordance with bid number 24-6819 and an amount not to exceed $450,000 annually for the Public Works Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilman Brannigan.
I will be abstaining from the vote. W.J. Blocher has been a client for 30 years.
Okay. Anyone else? Councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Councilmember Brannigan is abstaining. Item 15O is summary ordinance number 13,517, an ordinance ratifying the emergency purchase of 23 Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm semi-automatic pistols and related accessories from Gulf States Distributors in the amount of $11,234.14 for the Kenner Police Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Anyone wishing to speak on 15O? Police Chief Conley.
Yeah, I just want to explain to the public why this is an emergency purchase. I know I talked to the council about it. I appreciate your support. The bottom line is the distributor, the vendor that had the contract that was already approved by this council went belly up and left us high and dry. We have a class starting Monday morning that we needed these weapons for. So we had to do an emergency purchase. I want the public to know that the price points stay the same. Whenever we do these emergency purchases, we try to keep the price the same so that It's the original agreement that this council had agreed to, that had been discussed and published. It's just with another vendor. The only other vendor in Louisiana that handles Smith & Wesson is this company here, Gulf States Distributors. So just want to give some background to this piece. Thank you.
Chief, we're happy to support this, obviously. If anything ever happens, you need an emergency, anything, please let us know. We're happy to get it for you, okay?
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Item 15P is summary ordinance number 13,518, an ordinance ratifying an emergency replacement of the Roediger belt filter press at the wastewater treatment plant by GSM Engineered Fabrics LLC in the amount of $31,328 for the wastewater department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Anyone wishing to speak on 15P? Seeing none, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15Q is summary ordinance number 13,519, an ordinance approving an agreement for a monthly rental of a combination sewer cleaner vacuum truck with Super Products LLC for a monthly fee of $12,495 with a total not to exceed amount of $74,970 for the Department of Wastewater.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Anyone wishing to speak on 15Q? Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. This is a rental. This is a temporary until we get the new one in, correct?
That is correct. It's a 6-month rental. The manufacturer has told us that the vac truck should be ready by the end of the summer, but knowing delivery times as we've experienced, we're doing it for a 6-month rental to get us through.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, Joanne. Councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15R is summary ordinance number 13,520, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from All Star Electric Incorporated to provide repairs/maintenance of street lighting on the I-10 within the city of Kenner from Powell Boulevard to Duncan Canal, including the lighting system on all entrance and exit ramps and the elevated ramp to and from the airport access road on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 24-6820 in an amount not to exceed $250,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Got a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilman Schwartz.
Ms. Glorioso, Mark, you still here?
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not Mark. Mark, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to answer it, but it's not me.
You do everything.
What's your question? That's why I said I'm willing to
everything.
answer it. I mean,
I just thought it was you.
what you need? What can I help you with?
Nothing, sir. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
But I want to know, we
Mark,
have lights.
You can't be any more off than George was earlier.
No, I don't think so.
We got light poles that are down on the exit ramps at Williams Boulevard. They've been down for years. And are just going to get these poles?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, thank you.
They're all numbered, I believe. I think they're approximately within the city of Kenner's jurisdiction on the interstate, about 88 lights that we have been maintaining throughout this duration. So we're just renewing that. And we go and take audits in the evening to see which lights are not working. So we'll continue to do that work.
Anyone else? All right, councilors in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, say no.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance approving amendment number 3 to the agreement with Meyer Engineers LTD to provide damage and structural assessments to city building impacted by Hurricane Ida, increasing the not-to-exceed amount by $250,000 for a total not-to-exceed amount of $780,000 and extending the term through June 30th, 2026 for the mayor's office. Item 16B is an ordinance authorizing the use of State of Louisiana contract number 44000-26744 with Dell Marketing LP to purchase software on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually. Item 16C is an ordinance approving amendment number 10 to the agreement with ASM Global, formerly known as SMG, for management services for the Pontchartrain Convention and Civic Center to extend the agreement through June 30th, 2025. Item 16D is an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Kenner and the Parish of Jefferson to provide for development and administration of the Laketown Improvement District. Item 16E is an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Design Engineering Incorporated dated September 1st, 2023 for Powell Boulevard median improvements, West Esplanade Avenue to Vintage Drive, state project number H.011779, federal project number H.011779, City of Kenner project number 2014-001B-CIP, and adjusting/increasing the fee for professional services associated with construction contract administration, construction engineering, and inspection and testing as need be for the Department of Public Works. Item 16F is an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the 10 horsepower Surumi sub pump at the south plant was West Pump number 2 by Advanced Industrial Products Incorporated in the amount of $6,775.12 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16G is an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the drive gate automation operator at the wastewater treatment plant by AMKO Fence Company in the amount of $6,670 for the wastewater department. Item 16H is an ordinance approving an agreement with Moons Towing Service Incorporated for sludge hauling services in an amount not to exceed $400,000 annually for the wastewater department. Item 16I is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of emergency police equipment from Vehicle Parts and Equipment Company Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $39,896 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16J is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Meyer Engineers LTD regarding a Veterans Boulevard shared use path, pedestrian and bicycle along the south side of Veterans Boulevard between Richland Street and Williams Boulevard, state project number H.015796, federal aid project number H.015796, and an amount not to exceed $505,861 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16K is an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Risk Tree Service LLC to furnish and install Natchez crepe myrtle trees, increasing the not to exceed amount by $4,000 for a total not to exceed amount of $12,453 for the Field Services Department. Item 16L is an ordinance authorizing the Kenner Police Department to utilize State of Louisiana contract number 44000223991 with Quadient Leasing USA Incorporated for the lease of a postal meter and related equipment/accessories in an amount not to exceed $4,000 annually. Item 16M is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing to ratify amendments to the fiscal year 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2021 annual action plans of the Home Investment Partnership Program for the Community Development Department. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yeah, a couple of things. When we get this amphitheater done, Kenny Chesney should be the first concert that we get. Right, Mayor Glazer? Just kidding. I hope people have noticed when you travel on West Esplanade, we'll put up about 30 crepe myrtles. It's going to end up being about 46 total. Just trying to dress up West Esplanade from the Duncan Canal to Chateau Boulevard, because it had some open spaces, and the look that I was trying to achieve is the Veterans Boulevard look from Chappelle High School to Home Depot in Metairie. So they are up and they are getting leaves on them and they're looking pretty good. So hopefully y'all notice them when you're driving on West Esplanade. Thank you.
Police Chief Keith Conley.
Yeah, I just want to update the council. I want to thank the council and administration for the support. As you know, we've been recruiting very heavily to get officers on the police department. Well, Monday, we're starting our 5th back-to-back academy. It'll have 17 recruits in it for the Kenner Police Department, 1 from Harahan. And again, I want to thank you. It was a collaborative effort from everybody, the council, the administration, and the department to get this done. But some of the purchases today and what you're going to see next week are to equip these officers. But I just want to thank you for that. Also, we have a captive audience in the radio room right now because I want to acknowledge them. This is National Public Safety Communication Week, where we honor our our silent but vocal heroes that work the radios, call takers, dispatchers from the fire department, the police department, all the first responders. This is their week, so we've been honoring them with the little treats throughout the week, but if you see one, tell them thank you for what they do, because they never get any credit or accolades. They're hidden in the dark room, you know, just dispatching calls and you know, handling our citizens in a time of most need. So I want to give a shout out there watching right now. I want to tell them thank them for what they do, and that we're all thinking about them today. Thank you.
And Chief, you were also nominated by Jeff Landry to be on a commission, didn't you? Or,
Yeah, I did.
It's not a cabinet position, but it's a, what is it called again?
It's the Louisiana Law Enforcement and Safety Commission.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be part of it.
Very happy. Don't go leave at work up there. You got to stay here, though, okay? I want to keep you here.
I'm going to represent Kenner well. So.
My district, we're having the Driftwood Family Fest tomorrow from 11 to 4. It's a crawfish cook-off with various teams. It gets bigger every year. We also have a fun run in the morning. A bunch of teams will be cooking. I'll be on one of them called the Driftwood Crawdads. We also have the Kenner Firefighter Association out there cooking, some other teams, Tails and Ales, Big Pappy. I don't know what that means, but we have we're actually going to be selling beer this year too. So Driftwood Civic continues to do great events for the residents of District 3. Please come on out. $35 per family, up to 4 for really all you can eat crawfish and fun. Anybody else? Christy? Okay, Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to remind everyone also that tomorrow is also Kenner Discovery Jambalaya cook-off as well. It's $15. It's a little cheaper than the Driftwood thing. You can go to crawfish and then you get jambalaya. So that's tomorrow, 10 to 3.
Anybody else? Okay, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business or items to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Okay, Mr. Almarelli, you know the rules. 3 minutes, and you get to start now.
Around 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 52 years. I want to direct this to the chief. First of all, I want to extend my condolences to you and your family for your loss. Now, the second thing I want to direct to you, Chief, at the last Kenner Council meeting, once again, there was no detective at our table. Now, I'm going to tell you, this has a purpose, and the purpose is in the best interest of the citizens of this city and enable you and your department to better protect and to serve them. And to explain to you what I'm talking about, we just evicted someone out of one of our units that had 3 problem kids that was engaging in some serious criminal activity, and there was some problems in the process, so now they're planning on going to Jefferson Parish. Well, I took it upon myself to alert Jefferson Parish of what was going on here as well. So this is just one example of how I work to try to help law enforcement better protect the citizens of this city. Whatever goes on in that agency affects everyone in this city, every neighborhood in this city. So this is why I made that arrangement with then Chief Caraway, and he agreed with me. Okay, now I know he don't have to be there, but it's in the best interest of the city if he is. Because one of your deputies can pick up on things they may not know about. And if they're not there, they never gonna know about it. That's the purpose of this, Chief. And I would appreciate it very much. If you can't send the same guy all the time, we had Officer Babin come there for a long time. Whenever Officer Babin was not available, someone else came. Yes, sir, I'm talking about the Housing Authority. Kenner Housing Authority, okay? So I'd like to see one of your deputies there.
Yeah, like I said, we're getting our numbers up. We do work with with the Housing Authority on a regular basis, Mr. Borlawn. We're the ones that bring the evictions to them. So as soon as we can get some more people, I can take people off the road to have them come to the meeting. I know that whenever there's a hot topic, we do have somebody that goes and sits at the Housing Authority, and I'm sure that arrangement will keep, I'm sure Mr. Borlawn.
I consult with that deputy all the time, Chief, and I give him information that he may not have myself through a newspaper.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Now, the next thing I want to talk about is 2 Senate bills up in Baton Rouge that has something to do with the public records laws, public records requests. okay? Now, this affects everybody in the state of Louisiana. Now, first of all, people don't hide anything that don't have nothing to hide. That's number one. And the governor needs to know when he talks about the government is we the people. Any document, any record that results from any kind of decision by any public official who is our employee, that belongs to us. And I've already called my state senator and voiced my opposition to both those bills, 502 and 482. And I urge every citizen in this city to do the same thing. Because, like I said, we already have provisions in state law to describe which public records and which not. We don't need none of this. This is just to try to keep things from the people. And that's all it's about.
Mr. Rella, thank you so much for being here today.
Anybody got any
Time has
comments,
expired.
any questions before I leave here? Thank you.
No, thanks. Thank you. Next up at the podium, we have Mr. Greg Teft. Thanks for coming today. You have 3 minutes.
Greg Taft, 5th District. I just have a couple questions, and I think these go to the administration. At the Lake Town Park, right now we have a problem with the bathroom, as I understand it, and we also have not opened the concession stand. So my questions are, is there anything in the plan to open the concession stands for the people that do use that park? Because it is busy, especially on the weekends. And if it's not, then should we be looking at something like that? And the other thing is, what is the time frame to have the bathrooms reopened? Thank you.
Mayor Glazer.
We finishing up remodeling or redoing the concession stand part of it. It was from the roof down. During the storm, it had water in the building from the roof down. The roof was repaired. I believe it's done. Then we're going to pretty much RFP someone that wants to go out and run the concession stand. The parish project of rehabilitating the boat launch and the bathrooms by the boat launch itself was a different project. That was up, open. They lasted 2 weeks before they were destroyed. So we had to lock them because you couldn't use them. We opened the ones by the lighthouse. It lasted less than 2 weeks before somebody went in and destroyed them. So that's the problem. So we can repair them every week, and somebody's going to destroy them. You keep them locked until you have a large function out there, and let them use portalets. That's pretty much how it has to happen now. Or whoever goes to the park and destroys the property are going to continue to go out and destroy the property. So that's pretty much the reason why they remain locked today.
And Mr. Teft, in terms of Lake Town, I constantly talk to Chief Conley about getting more officers out there, and with the more manpower he has, we're going to start trying to do that. We do have a problem with vandalism in that area, which drives me absolutely crazy. The fishing pier, we have fixed all the lights. We're installing the green fishing lights, hopefully the next 2 weeks through Mr. Blocher, our electrical contractor. So the fishing pier has got a lot of rehab as well. And of course, with the REOVED project, a lot of things are going to be happening out there. So there's a lot of focus on it, and we are trying. All right, next up we have Emily Sharp. Not here. Ryan Nugent. Good afternoon, Ryan. You have 3 minutes. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Councilman Lahat. My name is Ryan Nugent. I live at 5444 Erlanger in District 3. First off, and I originally wasn't planning to say anything about this, but I do want to say that I very much agree with what Mr. Morello was saying about the public records law. I also spoke with one of my state representatives yesterday, voicing my opinions on that, and I do feel that transparency is a very important part of government at every level. So I wanted to share my agreement with all that and encourage everyone to call their representatives on that subject. The main reason I'm here today is I wanted to ask what happened to the Kenner Star. It seems to have disappeared about 1.5 years ago, and the city seems decidedly less connected in its absence. It doesn't seem like we have anything that approaches the same level of reach, whether that be KTV, YouTube, or the city's other social media, and I'm basing that assessment on the numbers that I see in terms of video views on YouTube, the engagement with the city's social media. And we all know that cable TV is kind of a dying thing, so, you know, KTV, the reach is minimal, versus this paper that we had that literally reached every inbox and basically every resident in the city. So I was just curious to know what the story was.
The owners of the Kenner store shut the business down.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's disappointing.
It was advertising as well, because it was still being publicized, I think, about 2 years ago. And I spoke to one of the owners, and they were having problems with people purchasing advertising. So it's money.
Gotcha.
I think that's exactly what happened. And I like it, too. If you go on their website, you can read publications from almost 20, 30 years ago. You can see a lot of things how Kenner has changed over the years with different administrations. It's kind of a history lesson, and I've done that a lot. It is a good resource.
Absolutely.
I wish they could bring it back. Maybe you can find a buyer.
That'd be great.
There you go.
Thank you.
Were you here earlier when Arita was here talking about the projects?
I caught a little bit of that.
You really need to go watch what you said about the lighting on Williams Boulevard.
Okay.
You are really going to like what you said.
I will check that out, certainly.
I would do that immediately. You have no idea how happy you're going to be. All right, next up we have Stacy Alejandro.
Good afternoon. Mr. Nugent was the first person I thought of, too, at that point. And also the lighting at Mus Bertolino. You might be interested in all those LEDs with George Brannigan. Anyway, so first off, I want to thank George Brannigan for all the improvements that you're doing on West Esplanade. I pass that area multiple times daily. And so we need a little dressing up. And you're right, I like what you're modeling it after, that area kind of in front of a Home Depot. It's beautiful. And there's no reason, you know, why Kenner can't have something just as nice on our major corridors. So thank you for doing that. I want to thank the mayor for his report, you know, giving us an update about the fire station. That's something my group has followed for many years. So I'm really excited to know that that's in the works and is finally going to happen. The major thing I want to talk about is what Arita Bohannon came here and told us about. You know, I've been following Kenner government for decades, and I've seen so many things come and go, like the 2030 plan. We didn't get hardly anything that we were promised for that. It was a big fanfare. They had mock-ups, and they had press conferences, and drawings and everything, meetings, town halls, and then you can hardly see any of that. The Esplanade Mall, you know, we've had, oh, this is what's coming, we're doing studies. None of that happened. Kohl's is coming, that never happened. Atlantis, the most recent thing that the previous administration under previous Mayor Zahn, they had press conferences about Atlantis. They had, the news stations were there. There was videos, there was so much press. It was in the newspaper. It was everything, everywhere. This was huge. And it turned out that was nothing but a scam. Those people had no money. It was just a complete joke. It was just this big production to say, look what we're going to do, and it had no substance. Within a few months of Mayor Glazer and his team taking office, they looked into it and they said, They canceled it immediately. They saw it was nothing but a farce. So I'm so used to these things, and I know a lot of us are. But now, with this project with Arita Bohannon, who I've known personally for many years, this is the thing that should be having all of that. And she humbly comes here and says, you know, I'm doing this for Kenner and I got all this money. This is the thing that should be having the press conferences and all the fanfare. This is going to happen. With Arita Bohannon as our Jefferson Parish Councilwoman getting the money, and she says she's going to do it, this is probably one of the biggest things that will ever happen to Kenner. And I am so excited, and along with this current administration and all of you guys, like, I just want to tell you how excited I am about this. And the entire city should be excited about it. And I know we're having a conservative approach because of all the things that I've mentioned just a minute ago about what we're so used to happening. But I just want to say that in all of these years, this is the project that I feel has the highest chance of actually happening, and I'm so excited about it. And I would be equally as happy with the Kenny Chesney concert or a Pantera concert. So you guys put on any concert you want. I just want that amphitheater to be there. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Stacy.
Well, Stacy, Mayor Glazer does not want, he doesn't know who Kenny Chesney is, he told me.
Councilman Brennan?
Ms. Alexandra, thank you for your comments. You know, it's really, really something, because the comments you made about Councilwoman Bohannon are so true. And I said something at the meeting a few weeks ago, and it really does say a lot, not only about her and what she's done, but this administration. And, you know, the mayor and his administration are doing an excellent job in straightening things out. And I've said this before, I've said this at association meetings, I'll say it until George says I'm dead. The mayor does not do all of this for any reason other than the good of the city of Kenner and the people that live here. His ego has been checked at the door a long, long time ago. And this team works very, very well together. The communication is just absolutely great. So this is an exciting day, and it's an exciting time to be in Kenner and to just know that this city is going to continue to move forward in the direction it should. So, thank you. I'll get off my soapbox.
Anybody else? Thanks, Stacy, so much for being here. Next up, Richard Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Richard Brown, live on Sessions Lane in District 4. And first off, I want to echo Al Morella's comments about a couple of those bills pending in the legislature regarding public records, especially Senate Bill 482 by Heather Cloud that would seriously impede public access to public records. I hope everybody here opposes that. I hope I don't hear that somebody on the city council or in the administration actually supports this bill. But just a few minutes ago, I texted my state senator, Kirk Talbot, and told him I think the bill is outrageous, please oppose it. His response was, quote, I agree. So hopefully he's opposed to it. I haven't talked to our state representatives yet, and don't know about Greg Miller, who represents South Kenner. But other than that, I'm excited about the presentation by Rita Bohannon and what's coming to Kenner. And unlike so many other things we've heard about, we have the money for this. She's got the money. This is going to happen, and it's going to be a fantastic improvement on Williams Boulevard and Lake Town. I'm excited about it. Really very much excited. I want to thank the mayor for the update on the fire station and on the other work going on in Kenner, the Williams Boulevard improvements. But I especially want to thank him for the update on the fire station, because some of us in Citizens for a Better Kenner had just started discussing this, and I had actually planned to bring it up at this meeting and ask about the status of the fire station. And I know, Mayor Glazer, you know, this was a boondoggle you inherited, and I like the way you're handling it. I'm excited to hear now what is happening. Thank you very much for the way you're handling this. Pardon me. And I want to thank Chief Conley for the explanation about why we had an emergency purchase of 23 guns. I was wondering, well, what is this emergency? Is there some sort of invasion being planned or what? So thank you for the explanation. And let's see. And I want to also echo the sentiments that Stacey Alessandro expressed, and to thank our Councilman George Brannigan for all the improvements he is making on West Esplanade, everything he's done in that entire area. George started doing things like this even before he took office. From the moment he was elected and before he took office, he was out in our neighborhood making arrangements to get things done. And I love seeing that sort of thing happen. That's the type of person we need. Thank you, Councilman Brannigan, for that. And I think probably that pretty much covers it. Thank you all. It was a good meeting. I really appreciate all the updates. And thank you again, Mayor Glazer, for the information on the fire station.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.